So today we're going to do the handover video on the Bessacarr high style. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. Firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you'll notice that you've got your bonnet release catch, which is just located here. Pull that to release the bonnet. Whilst I'm here, this specific model is fitted with the Blackout Blinds, as you can see. To operate these, all you need to do is simply pinch the little tab and pull out like so. Lead from the bottom and then connect them up just to the magnetic strip like so. You've got these blinds on each of your cab windows and also the front section here. As you can see, one's out here, and just pull that to the middle and magnetic strips, we'll just connect them together. When taking these back in, pinch, and then I typically find it's a lot easier if you lead from the bottom and then pull that into place like so. As a rule of thumb with anything in a motorhome is if it feels like it's being forced, you are probably doing something wrong, so do bear that in mind. So bits like this, if it feels like it's forced or it's jammed, just rethink and try again. You don't want to force anything because ultimately you will break it. As I say, coming over to the bonnet, just press that bonnet release catch and that will release the bonnet. I'll open this up now and show you the items underneath there. Okie dokie, with the bonnet open, you'll notice that you've got your positive point onto here for jump starting the vehicle, which is just underneath this cap here. There's a little positive sign on there. And then your negative is just at the front here onto this little nipple there. Jump starting, simply negative onto there and positive onto there. They're the main things that you need to know underneath the bonnet, but just to point out a couple more things, you've got your brake disc fluid here, your engine coolant, your power steering fluid, and then finally your washer fluid in there. And before moving on, you'll notice you've got your engine oil down here, along with your dipstick, which is just below that. Moving on to the driver's side now, you'll notice that you have your fill-up point for your fresh water, which is located here. All you need to do is when you're on site, simply unscrew the cap and put a food grade hose pipe in there to fill the system. You will notice that you have got another cap here, which if you do remove, if for example you're on a smart site, you can simply connect straight up to that. And what that'll do is you'll turn your pump on the inside and that'll send water straight into the vehicle. And if you was to use water, it'll just pull the water straight from the campsite, so it'll save you from having to keep refilling it up. Next to this, you've then got your Alde heating system. Your Alde is a wet central heating system, which I'll go into more detail on the inside. But you'll notice that you've got like a chimney or your flue. This does get quite hot, and this is just a breathing system for it. So do be careful, don't hang anything on there. Next to this, you've then got a bit of storage, which I'll open up for you now. Once all open, you can see that it's very accessible. Nice bit of storage in there for you. Next, you've then got your hookup point. So your hookup cable goes onto there when you're on site with mains electric. And just below this storage locker and the hookup point, you will notice that you have another storage bin here, which once unlocked will pull out, and that's great for wellies and outdoor gear that you don't want damaging or getting the vehicle on the inside wet. Whilst I'm down here, you will notice that you've got two stickers. You have a fresh drain down sticker, which indicates the fresh drain down point, and then you have a waste drain down sticker, which indicates the waste drain down. Now the great thing with this vehicle is everything can be done on the inside, so all your waste drain down points, including your main boiler drain down, can all be done on the inside, and that's all done electrically, which I'll show you, as I say, when we go on the inside. But just so you are aware, when you're on site, all you need to do is park over the large grid, empty your waste, and as I say, your fresh is up at the front here, as indicated by the sticker. What I'd recommend as well is when you're travelling home, leave all your drain down points open, because all that water, or the final bit, is just going to empty from the van due to vibrations and things. Moving on to the back, you have your storage locker in the back here, which is through storage or underneath the bed. And then onto the back, you have got the provisions for a bike rack if you want one, along with a dual camera on the back. Moving back onto the passenger side, you'll notice that you've got another storage locker, which is an access point into the garage again. and you have got your Thule awning, which has been fitted to this specific vehicle. The awning is dead simple. All you need to do, you'll have an awning pole in the garage. All you need to simply do is connect it up into there using the T-bar. You then press that in, turn it halfway, and that'll then get caught in the awning and stuck. You then simply wind the awning out to a point that you can reach it. You then drop the legs down, angle them, and then wind it out. The great thing with this is it's a 5-minute job, and it's as exactly how you put it out, you put it back in as well. You just in reverse rather. Now, one thing to know with the awning is to never use it in really windy weather, because as you can imagine, it is a massive sail on the side of the van, so you don't want that. So just make sure that if the wind does pick up, take the awning in. Do be mindful of that. Now, coming onto the side of the vehicle, you have a few things to discuss. You'll notice that you've got an external shower point here, as indicated by the icon on the side there. You've then got your cassette toilet, which I'll come back to and show you how to operate that in a minute. You've then got your 230-volt socket, which is for mains electric out on the outside, which is just a normal standard 3-pin plug. And next to that, you'll notice you've got your external gas point, which is just into there. Obviously, you'll need to make sure that your gas bottles are turned on for that. Above that, you've then got your fridge vents, as you can see. One thing to know with the fridge is typically this is obviously where it pulls its air from to cool the fridge. With that in mind, if the sun is beating down on this side of the vehicle, try and shade this with the awning or turn it round, because you don't want you want to try and help the fridge out as best you can. So do bear that in mind. Finally, you've then got your gas bottles, which will go into here. One thing that you need to know with the gas bottles is to never travel with them on, due to safety. So always turn the gas bottles off at the bottle when travelling, but then when on site you can of course feed that through and turn them on. One thing I did forget to mention as well on the passenger side is your fill up points for your diesel, which is just here, as you can see. Now, coming back to the cassette toilet, I'll open this up for you now and show you how to empty the system. With the locker door open, you then have access to the cassette toilet. When removing this, you need to make sure that the blade on the toilet on the inside is closed. I'll go into more depth on that when we go onto the inside. But for example, if you do lift this out and try to remove it and it does get jammed, the chances are you have left that blade open. If it does feel like it's getting jammed, please do not pull it. Put it back. Make sure that everything's clear, because as I say, you don't want to snap that. To remove it, as I say, pull up on this little clip here, that will release it, and then slide out like so. I'll pull this all the way out on the floor and just show you how to drain it down. With the cassette toilet out, as you can see, it's a very simple system. All you need to do is simply turn this funnel out and take the cap off. You then notice that you've got 2 buttons on the back. Click the rear button, which is there, and that'll release a vacuum which is on the inside. Click that and empty and pour out the contents of the cassette. Once you've done that, put some water in and give it a swill out. You can then put the cap back on, fold it into this position, and then you're away. As I mentioned, you have got another button here which does turn like so. As I mentioned, you have got a blade on the toilet which in essence will open and close the cassette. You need to make sure that that is always in that position. You shouldn't need to do anything with this, because in essence, if you was to turn that and try to put it in, it's going to jam, because obviously it's not going to go into the slot. So do bear that in mind. Make sure it's in that position. It should only be in that position, because if it wasn't, there's no way of you getting it out. So always leave it in that position, so you don't need to do anything with it. Once you've done that, you've emptied it, you can then slide it back in and lock it into place. As you can see, that's now locked into place with a little handle there, and then you're good to go. Moving on, we're then going to the inside of the vehicle. On the inside, on the habitation, above the habitation door, you'll notice that you've got your control panel. You have your main control panel here, which is completely user-friendly. This is what you'll do everything from, regarding your freshwater drain down points and also your levels. Along with your heating system, which as I say on the outside is an Alde system. Okie dokie. All you need to do to turn this on, give it a click, and you can see you've got access to all your bits. Now firstly, running through the options, your pump. Click your pump on when you've got fresh water in the system. Only run the pump once you've got fresh water in the system, because you don't want to run the pump when you've got no water in, because you'll simply burn it out. Once you've done that, click your pump on, go to all of your taps, including your shower, turn them on and turn them to hot. What that's going to do is it's going to pull fresh water from the fresh water system into the boiler, therefore priming the boiler, and then out of your tap. It'll spurt and splutter, and then once you've done that, once it's running steadily, you've primed your system for your hot water. Once you've done that, flick it over to cold, do the exact same, it'll spurt and splutter, and then you've primed your system. Do that, as I say, for all your taps, including your shower. And once you have done that, on each of your taps, you have a little micro switch, which in essence will activate the pump whenever you need it, so you can leave the pump on at that point. But as I say, you should only run the pump once you've got water in the system. Next, you then notice you've got your awning light. This is all touchscreen, by the way, so you just click it. Awning light's been selected, which is the door light on the outside. You've then got your lighting on the inside, so you can dim it and change the settings like so, depending on what light you want to change. As you can see, just changing them like so. And then for your lighting, just whilst we're on the topic, each of the spotlights have little lights underneath, so you can turn them on and off depending on which ones you want on. Coming back up, just click your home button to get back. You'll then notice that you've got your power button. Click that, and this is going to, as I mentioned, give you all your levels in terms of your leisure battery, what your solar panel's working at, and also your vehicle battery. Now at the moment, you can see that you've got a selected battery. At the moment, your leisure battery has been selected. You can change this to your vehicle battery. However, I strongly advise against it. Make sure that you're only running your vehicle, the motorhome rather, off the leisure battery. If you was to change this to the vehicle battery, what could happen is you'll drain the entire system and then you can't actually get going. That's when you're going to need to jump start the vehicle. So make sure that you keep it on that leisure battery. As I say, leisure, solar and vehicle battery just indicates there. I'm not plugged in currently, hence why the leisure isn't at 100%, but you can see how it's working there. Using the little arrow here, you can, if you want, change through the settings. It's going to tell you the current of what the mains is pulling through and set a limit for that. To be honest with you, you don't really need to do much with that. This is the main screen which you'll be using and interacting with. Coming back to the home, next is your water. Now as I said with your water, at the moment I've nothing in, hence why it's just reading 0%, but everything can be done on the inside like I say. You have got tank heaters on this model, so if you was to click that tank heater, if you're using the vehicle in very cool climate, you can in essence heat the tank so it's not going to freeze. You've then got your level alerts, which I'm on currently, that's going to tell me my levels. You've then got frost alerts, if I click that, you'll get an alert just to basically tell you when it's when you need to switch the heaters on or drain them down, just in case you don't freeze the system. You've then got your two final options of emptying and draining them down. As I say, this is all done on the outside, and indicated on the first one you can empty the fresh water, and the last one you can empty the wastewater, and that's all done just by clicking them buttons. So dead simple and dead easy. Coming back to the main, you've then got your heating. This will tell you the inside heating and also the outside temperature. As you can see, the air temperature there. For this, you can run it off electric, gas, if you wanted to, and this is in essence for your water. As you can see, if I turn that on, that will show you your level for your water. You can also select that on boost if you like, depending on how much you want. Using it, you'll usually click it on normal and that'll get it up to temperature, and then click it on boost just to emphasize that and try and get a bit more heat in the system. Just turning that off now, it'll then give the option to run it off either electric, which is 1 kilowatt electric, as indicated by the little lightning strike there. Click it again, you can run it off 2 kilowatt electric or 3 kilowatt electric. And then if I turn that off, as you can see, it is off now. Now obviously you will run it off if you can 3 kilowatt electric, depending on what power you are supplied with. Now typically when you are abroad, you won't have that option. They usually limit you to quite a restricted sort of power. So you might be forced to run it off 1 kilowatt electric or 2 kilowatt electric. If that is the case, you're probably better off running it off the gas. And just as indicated there, you can either turn it on or off just by clicking that button there to run it off the gas. You can then arrange a timer. So as you can see, you can put a timer for when you want these systems to operate, if you wanted to. And then there is an option for an app, but on this model, just by the looks of it, I don't think it's been installed. Going through the options, as I say, you can change the time in there. Going in to the home, you've then got finally your settings. And these are your general settings, as you can see. So you can change the brightness of the screen and various things like that, and operate it on night mode and things like that. So it's dead simple. Just like that. To turn this off, by the way, all you need to do is click this button and hold it. I'm going to leave it on for the time being whilst I'm doing the remainder of this video. All you need to do is hold this button in, and the entire system will turn off. Now coming over to the Alde heating system, as mentioned, you can operate the heating off here, which would be for your water temperature. However, a lot more of a user sort of friendly system is just located to the left hand side here. This is, as I say, your Alde system. And this will allow you to control the vehicle heating, so the air temperature, and then also the water temperature, along with which fuel you want to use. As you can see, just clicking on the menu button, like so. At the top, you've got your temperature, which using the button there, you can flick between. Underneath that, you've then got your water temperature. The midpoint is approximately 50 degrees. And the top point, as you can see there, is approximately 70 degrees. 70 degrees you'll be using when you're washing up. And then that mid-level there, about 50 degrees, you'll be using when you're having a shower and things. Below that, you've then got the option of what you want to run the vehicle off in essence. So you can either run it off 1 kilowatt electric as shown, 2 kilowatt electric, or 3 kilowatt electric. Or you could run it off gas, which is just below there. You have got another settings button in here. And the main thing that you need to know in here is if you ever need to reset the system. Your reset button is just on there, and you never need to reset the system. You'd need to do that if you ever got a error code reading on here. Now the reason you get an error code is, for example, if the vehicle was trying to power the system, if the heating system was trying to work off a fuel that you haven't got. If that is the case, you'll get an error code. When that happens, you need to click the reset button and wait 20 minutes approximately for that to reset. Alright, I'll just turn that off now, just by holding it, and that'll turn off, as you can see. So coming away from the control panel and into your lounge area, this lounge will convert into a bed should you want it to. How that works is using this side seat here, you will simply pull out and a little leg will drop down from the underside of here. Changing this into a bed, and then using the table, which usually clips onto here, you'll clip that onto the lower bar to create the base, let it rest on here, and then using the cushions you can then complete the space and turn this into a double bed. What you have also got in the front section, you'll notice that you've got two little ports here which actually lift up and remove. Now the first one is just simply storage, as you can see. However, the second one does contain the tank, and it's your fresh water tank here, and this just gains your access to the tank itself. Once that is removed, you'll notice that there's a cap on the top there. If you unscrew that, this is basically where you can clean out the tank if you wanted to. Now I personally don't recommend drinking out the fresh water tank due to the plastic that's used on the tank, but you can, if you wanted to, use purifying tablets and things like that, which will just pop in the top. But that's an access point to your fresh water tank. With these, just simply line them up, apply a bit of pressure and slot them into place like so. Now coming back into this bench section here, I'm going to lift this up for you, because underneath here you have got your fuses. I'll just demonstrate that now. Okie dokie, with the bench lifted, you'll then notice that you have your fuses, which are all here for you, along with your trip box, which is just alongside it. If the vehicle ever trips, you need to come to this point. Your fuses, as I say, are alongside there, so you end up getting a blown fuse, you can come to here. And one thing that is really good on this fuse box is you'll notice that you've got a little T button there. So for example, if you're on site and you can't get any electric to the vehicle and you can't work out where it's coming from, all you need to do is come into here, click your little T button, and if all of these switches trip down, you know that you're getting power to the vehicle, so it's therefore not a fault with the site or the hookup cable that you're using, it's a fault with your vehicle. And that allows you to isolate the issue, and then you can then look at your fuses and begin checking which ones have blown. Alright, and as I say, that is all located down here. You'll notice in here there's a little bit for storage, however the bulk of it is taken up by this black box here, which contains your gas bottles as shown you. So coming into the kitchen area, the kitchen, you'll notice that you've got your hob with one electric ring, along with your microwave, which is worth noting will only work off 230 volt, along with your electric ring, and then below that your oven and grill. You have also a bit of storage beneath this here, and then opposite you'll notice that you've got your fridge. With your fridge, this is a Dometic system, and how that works is it's a three-way fridge. You'll notice there's three ways to power it, which are up here. So for example, if you are running the vehicle and travelling, you can run the vehicle off the 12 volt leisure battery. If you're wild camping with the vehicle, you can run the vehicle off gas, and then if you're hooked up on site, you can use the 230 volt hookup point there. Now what you'll notice is you've got an auto button here, which in essence will automatically assign whatever fuel you have to the vehicle. What I'd recommend is just selecting that auto just by flicking through the options, and that'll automatically assign whichever fuel you've got, as I've mentioned. To change the temperature, just by using this little thermometer icon, click that and that'll change this temperature. And then you'll notice that right at the front you've got an error triangle there, and that will flash if you ever have an error code or error with the fridge. If that is the case, just give us a call and we'll talk you through how to reset the system. Your freezer is up at the top and the fridge is below. Let that lock in. You'll also notice that you have a bit of storage in here, but alongside storage you have got your Alde heating system boiler, which is all located in here. Now the main thing that you need to know here is your drain down point. As I said, there's three main drain down points to a vehicle. There's the boiler drain down point, which is here, and there's the two waste and fresh drain down points, which are on the outside of this vehicle. Now regarding the vehicle drain down point for the boiler, that is located here, and as you can see by that yellow valve there, the yellow switch, this is how you drain it down. In the up position it is at the moment, it is open, and in the down position like so, it is closed. You need to make sure that when you are storing the vehicle or you know not using the vehicle, that remains up to drain the system down, and then when using the vehicle, flick that down like so, just to complete the system. I'm going to leave it up just to make sure. Going into the back, we're then leaning on to your bathroom area. You'll notice that you've got your fridge on one your shower rather, your shower on one side, and as I've mentioned, this will only work once your pump is on, similar to your taps. And then on the other side, you have got your toilet. Now your toilet, the main thing that you need to know, as mentioned on the outside, is your blade. So the blade is this silver piece of plastic here. Now at the moment it's closed. If you push that away from you, that'll open the cassette, and that'll just simply open it. So during use, all you need to do is push that blade across. That'll open the cassette, so all the waste can drop into the cassette. Once you've done that, you press that little blue button to activate your flush. That'll flush the system, and once you've done that, simply pull the blade back. You close the blade for two reasons rather. The main reason being it'll make sure that no odours escape from the cassette, and the second reason is it'll get you into the habit of that being always closed, so when you come to empty the cassette it should be closed and you'll never run into that issue of it jamming. Now at the top, as I mentioned, your flush button is just that blue button there, and it's worth noting that that will only work when your pump is on. You will also get a red light indicating on here when that cassette is full, and that's when you need to empty it. You'll also notice you have a heater in here for your Alde heating system, and another tap, as I mentioned, for when you're priming the system. Now moving back into the bedroom, you'll notice that you've got a lot of storage either side and also at the top. along with these cabinets here. In this side, along with hanging space, you'll notice that you've got a tank in the back. That is an Alde expansion tank, and that's for your your Alde boiler system. All that's contained in there is a glycol solution, which is in essence an antifreeze solution, just to stop that fluid from, of course, freezing. That's located in there. As I say, you've got bits of storage on the other side. Now under the bed, you've some more storage. If I lift that up, as you can see, it's dead simple and easy. You've got your table located at the back, and then storage at the front. You'll notice that you've got your shower point with this vehicle, and also a large pack containing all the vehicle's details and things. Before moving on from the bedroom area, it's worth noting that this bed will slide back and forth like so to give you a bit more space. And you have a little infill at the top there, just to slot that in to make it a bigger bed should you want to. Before concluding the handover, one thing to know is on all your windows, you have your blackout blinds and your fly screens, and you have the ability of opening them just by using these little latches and opening them out like so. They'll simply just stay into position once you have clipped them into place. And if you wanted, you can leave these on venting like so, just to allow a little bit of airflow into the van. Now make sure that all your side windows, including your skylights, are all closed during transit, because you want to make sure that there's no wind getting in there. So obviously avoid the issue of it simply ripping the window off, so do bear that in mind. Now before concluding, you'll notice that you've also got a skylight at the front here. To open this, these will be in this position, which is in the lock position. Simply pull them back on either side like so, and you can then unwind it and open up the skylight like so. Now that concludes the handover video on the Bessacarr High Style. I hope you enjoyed.